Good evening, folks, and welcome back to Biblical Britain Uncoded, or should be really called Biblical Matrix Decoded. Right. Well, firstly, a welcome to any new subscribers. We're picking a few up, which is good news, and thank you to everyone else who takes the time to watch these videos. Right, I don't even know where to start with this one. Right, since the last video, something has come, well, something was given to me. For anybody who doesn't, well, you'll get a better explanation of this. It's a little further into the video of what actually happens and how I work out these codes. But essentially, I don't know if you call it channeling or something, but I'm on some one-way, or it feels like a one-way connection to something that basically keeps. I say something. I know whose work it is, but obviously I don't know whether I think it's laid out in something that effectively downloads. I think it downloads and sort of, well, just puts things in my consciousness, but sometimes, and then there'll very often be outside triggers as well, and absolutely the timing of it is absolutely, divine is the only word I can use, and I'll go from one week to the next. At the end of the last video, I had pretty much nothing or nothing of substance that I could obviously show you. But now I've got something to show you in the less, 2 weeks, but really doesn't take that time really to get the codes, but they just drip feed in, and then all of a sudden I'll get the one thing that links it all. Well, in this case, the first one, absolutely astounding, and you'll see this symbology on the board. You'll find this on Masonic buildings, and it is absolutely loaded with code. But the one thing that I've already done the bulk of this in the past, I'm going to have to do it again, because there's one letter that I didn't, well, you'll see what I mean now, but I didn't actually put it into what was decoded, and then it's opened up. Well, and I'm going to be honest with you. When I got this, I sort of said, well, I got it, but I sort of said, like, yeah, how the heck am I going to tell people this? Because I'm kidding you not, this is like something out of science fiction. But sure, as it always happens, the next thing, bang, 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 code after code after code, it just comes in, and it is absolutely mind-blowing, and really the most important, this will be the most important video I've done by a long way, because the Old Testament has had a G taken off it. It should be the Gold Testament. Testament is also an anagram of statement, and I said this long ago, and I knew somewhere in this code there was going to be a gold statement. Now, I'm pretty sure I found the gold statement, because it just is absolutely mind-blowing. Okay, on that note, I'll get into this, but what I would ask people, like when I show you the first bit, well, I mean, what this first part is and says is absolutely phenomenal anyway, in itself, in its own right, as to be able to decode it. But the added bit is at first you're going to be like me. I could believe it because I could see how it connects, but it was still like you need a lot of evidence to back up something that, like, to back up what this actually, what the real true deep meaning of this symbol is. Right. Firstly, again, I'll just break it down quickly, the basics of it. Right, this Z is something that goes with the Z that just makes this code. Well, you'll see as we go on. Okay, but you've got C, which is the secret Sion Mon. When you take the other symbology with the pillars and everything else, you get the crescent moon, you've got 7 stars above a crescent moon. The 7 stars are the Pleiades, which is an anagram of please ID. And I found out what I really have to ID, or the biggest one. And then a crescent moon is an anagram of secret C on Mon. The secret C goes into King Solomon. You put the C and King Solomon, then you unscramble it. It says so locking in Mons. And then obviously it's temple or the key, which I've shown on the last video. If anyone's not familiar with it, well worth a watch on the last video. Okay, right, the main part of this, you start here and it's got C-M-E-L-I-N. Well, Melin is Fort Clonmelin. Okay, that's the key. It's the fort that's literally in the shape of a modern key that ties up with the padlock at Kayawent, which is well, basically is Jerusalem. Well, not basically, it is Jerusalem. I've got multiple codes that prove it. It's based on the constellation, or named after the constellation Gerus the crane. And then you add a Mel, and this is the Lem of Jerusalem, and all you add is A, so a Lem. So, right, anyway, without going off track, but basically what this is a fort. Now, anybody who's watching this will know that the G is Jerusalem and the H is Melin H. I went through the H on the last one. Right, but you've got the GH. This is the royal crown as well, which gives you the arch in Cancer. So you've got your RGH. That gives you it's the Royal Gwent Hospital basically, but it's all part of the bigger code in Solomon. Right, I'm just going to hold you there while I so this is the basic. Just to show you, you've got an extra I, you've got the Z, and then what you've got are these numbers 8, 9, and 3. Well, they're very significant numbers, and I'll break down now what this all means. Bear with me. Okay, folks. Right, I've just broken this down a little bit just to show you, because even though I did it before, I found quite a bit more code in this than I sort of just amazing how encoded it is. Okay. Well, as you can see at the top, I've just put the literally what the letters that are in the in that symbol, and you've got these are the sort of the letters on the outside and the bit in the middle. It says IC Melin GH. Well, if you've been watching these videos, you'll know, and I named, well, I'd already worked out this GH part long before I actually found this symbol. So it was kind of like just confirmation, really. But then there's this odd Z. Now, this, like I say, this Z is the one that is going to blow your mind. But like I say, no good on its own. It needs to be backed up, and I'll do that as well. Okay, so then you've got this 3. Right, now I'll come to, then you've got this royal, right, this crown equals royal. So what you do is, and this is again, without getting into it, but I've already broken this down, but the Royal Arch in Cancer, I was born in Cancer in the Royal Gwent Hospital, and that is what the Royal GH is. It connects the hospital to the temple, the real Solomon's Temple, which is in a place called Kayawent in South Wales. Now, as a baby, well, it talks of the womb of the matrix in the Old Testament, and people have always tried to tie up what this means. Well, I was in the womb at the point where you break the matrix, because the lock is where you literally break the matrix. And what you do, all you do is the word padlock, you take the word padlock and you break the padlock and you change it, and you anagram it down to add P lock. You put the P into the word matrix, it becomes maptrix. And this whole matrix is about maptrix. Right, and you've heard people say about escaping the matrix. Well, that's a whole lot more real after this video, or becomes a whole lot more real. Right, so it's right. There's more than one meaning. A crown is also the corona. You know, well, and you know what I'm talking about with this word here. Best not say it, but right. And what this is a code in itself, because this word tells you what it is. okay. And what this does, this symbol locates, obviously this is the key, right, and as we go into it, you'll see how this really is the end map, basically. There's no other word for it. So not only is it the Royal GH, this is just all like tying it all together to prove that this temple really is Solomon's temple, and Jerusalem is Jerusalem with a G. Okay? Right, okay. What is the three? Right, the 3, 8 and 9 are actually the decoded 10 lost tribes. The third tribe is the Regnensis, I think it is. Then you've got the 8th tribe of the Deciangli, and the 9th tribe, which are important because they're the 9 is the Siluri. The Siluri, as I showed on the last one, the Israelites. It's Ra lies. Ra, for anyone who doesn't know, is the decoded name and the actual name of the serpent in the Garden of Eden. As unbelievable as this all sounds, I can tell you now, if you check the Eden codes I've done, you'll see how this all fits together, unbelievable, and pieces together. Because Jerusalem is built, or this Jerusalem is built on the garden, where the Garden of Eden was, basically, and there's a great big apple in a mound in the corner that you can only see from the air, which lines up with the lock, the key, or you've got the key, the lock, and then the apple. Again, it's all on the last video. Right, okay. I'm not going to literally do the whole crossing out thing, but you can check it yourself. Okay. Right, these letters. Right. Again, I can't go into everything with this, but there's an Egyptian code, and the 3 pyramids of Giza, Cheops, Menekhet, and Khafre. That's the name of them. Cheops is down, they'll show you as Khufu, but it's not. It's actually Cheops. It says it's an alternative, but it's not. It's the real one. I know because the message here says, Marco, you keep Ankh, freeze H. Okay? Now, this Ankh is going to come into play in something else as well, probably on the next video. But I know why. But right, let's do the message first, right? Effectively, it's... Actually, I'm going to run out of space here. I'm going to have to scrub these, but as you can see, if you want to write them down, this is obviously you can check this yourself. But it says the I comes from there. I'm born in the land of the Siluri, so I'm classed as a Siluri in the code. The real Israelite, or what we've known as the Israelites, they're not, they're Siluri. Okay. Then we've done the C. I, C. I'm going to run out of space here, I know it. Okay, embryogenesis. Right, I see embryogenesis. And then, sorry, that's right, that one there. And then there's a C in the actual tribes with the Deciangli that we use there. And then what you have is this Z on the end. Right, I'm going to shorten this a bit just to put this in, but it's end. Regenesis, and then we've got C again, and then we've got the Z. Okay, with this, effectively what you do, and it's going to be a bit of a cram version, it's not going to be the best. That's off skew. Sorry folks, bear with me, my drawing isn't the greatest. that should, right, hang on. In fact, give me a second, guys and girls, let me just do this and then let me just pause a second. Right, okay, let's try this again. Right, what you basically, right, the toe and the ankle actually go together. It's like, well, it says it gives it new robes. Well, you give it new robes because the toe is effectively an ankle with a head. So what you've got, but when you put them together, effectively what you've got is this picture, which I'm assuming is the Siluri angel, and obviously the crown, the H. Then we've got, right, let's do the first bit. Right, so next thing we have to add is the full name of this. Right, here's where the kicker comes in. Or this is the mind blower. Well, firstly is, so to lay Llanmelin over that with a double L, obviously there's a C there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry the L. Then I'm going to fill in clan. So it's a clan, it's a tribe. And then the melin. Right, I'm going to leave a gap. Again, if you've seen this before. Right, David, King David, or so locking David, if you use another code with a Trixie as well, I guess. Right, David is an anagram. Well, it's two. Well, you can do it either way. You can do it as add VID. So identify, add V, identify. Well, the simple thing is, if I put the V in there, and this is my family name, well, I say my family name, my father's name, again, I keep going over this, but my grandfather's name is Melvin Ap Robert, so he would be the root of add VID, or the root of David. My father's name was Melvin Ap Melvin, and my name is Marco Ap Melvin. So basically you've got the clan Melvin and the clan Melvin line, okay? Right, then you put the G in, because this is not only, is this Jerusalem, which decodes with, which I could completely decode my own name and my family name from the word Jerusalem, just reverse it. Again, I don't want to get into all this because I've done it so many times before. Right, okay, but the whole point is, so you've got the clan Melvin, you've got Siluri Angel, C end Regenesis. To see it, obviously, is not only is it to lock it into Solomon's key, and, well, in this case, this is locking the end Regenesis, because, right, now, this is the kicker letter, because this goes in here. And what you have is I Siluri Angel, C end Regenesis, C, the LZ. Well, an LZ is a landing zone. Now, if you've been following my videos, you will know, and I'm not going to lie, I mentioned it to a few people. I said, I just wonder if is it possible, because of, like I say, I don't know whether I really thought it would be, but is it that the Ark ship, the Argus Navis, is actually, like a craft? You've got a H, which indicates a helipad, like a helipad, a landing zone usually has a H on it. You've got this Noah's Ark event craft, which is also written into the word Ark of the Covenant. One of the codes in it is OC Noah event craft, and obviously the Noah event, which I'll explain to you because it isn't good, that's coming. Well, like I say, I'll let this code speak for itself as we do it. But as you see, it says I Siluri Angel, C end Regenesis, and then it's CLZ. Now, if I do it there, I see Melin, GH. Again, this is the one missing letter that you have to transfer over. Landing zone. Okay. And like I say, when you see the gold statement that's decoded in the Book of Job, this will really, well, like I say, is mind-blowing. Right, bear with me a second, folks. Okay, folks, this is what I've been given as what that represents and why. Okay, Up here, I've just put this in. All I've done is change the C to a C, so it makes it a little, obviously a bit more, or the short version of it with all the letters used on the symbol. Obviously, melon is in there as well. Right, countenance divine is an actual code as well. Obviously, well, it's a code. First thing, all you do is, if you watch the last video, you know that there's a secret H, and I'm the secret H man. So what I do is add my secret H to this, and I'll explain it now. So it says count enhance ID vine. Right. Right, the vine is right. The second code in it, which is an anagram of this completely. Obviously, you could do with or without the H on this, but it says I end count 9. Is it? Yeah, that's right. I end count 9. Evac H. Again, this is what I mean with an LZ. At the bottom line of this, there is an, and I know this is far out there and is in the realms of science fiction, but it makes a whole lot of sense. And I've realised that Revelation, there's a guy called Archaics, and he says, he just confirmed it for me, and this guy really switched on to these ancient writings. And he said that the book of Revelation comes from older texts, and they've added all the Jesus, John, and all the rest of it into it. And I did say long ago, there's something with Revelation because it seems to have truth in amongst it, and the 666 I've already decoded, and that becomes apparent as well at the end of this, because the order of play shows you their demise effectively. Okay, I end count 9, Evac H. Well, if you remember, you've got the 666, which is in the bunker underneath melon. This is your dollar bunker. It's on the Solomon symbol as well. Overlays onto the map, basically. It goes between the lock and the key. There's another star then. There's this Silu, which is a Celis Borealis. It says use all, the Silu star. Okay, so, right, the Silu, right, okay. Sorry folks, this is so difficult to put it in. Right, your 777 is effectively scene V, scene V, and also if you use the 7, the V is obviously the add VID. And then the 7, river 7, which carries it. Obviously, there's an extra R in there to make the code. But it's the river of the Sabbath day, basically. It's the Sabbath day river. It used to be called the Sabrina, which was added to from the word Sab. It's the Sab bath you took at Roost Day, which is the word Saturday anagrammed. And Siluri H is his rule. And this is why it's the land of his rule is Britain. Because his rule is written in the river 7. Okay, well this is also, sorry, it's just, well, with the R in there, basically you also get the CNRV. This is all to do with the reflection in Solomon, which also gives you the Newport newspaper ship, which is the Argus Navis. Okay, IN count 9 is right. So then you've got your 888, which is tie, the word 8, the word 8, when you unscrabble it, is tie GH. Okay, so what is, and then the last one is 999. It's an emergency. So what you've got is the 999, and this is what this is. It's an evac. It's an emergency evac of the remnant, basically, that have managed to make it to the fort, done the right thing, and followed the instructions that I'm putting out there. Like I say, and this is as alien to me as it is to you, and I use the word alien but right, and it's also notable that they're now starting to admit there's in America they're actually starting to reveal that they've admitted there are UFOs and everything else out there. I think the game is they're going to try to make everybody scared of this. So when this, and I'm positive they know this is going to happen. And they're obviously bunkers. They're using the tribes as some sort of human shield. I don't know what their plan is. Do they know about the evac? I don't know. But either way, 999. It also tells you in the Old Testament, to seek the wisdom of the Ancient of Days. Well, the Ancient of Days just happens to be, if I can spell it right, Methuselah. I think that's how you spell it, Methuselah, sorry. There must be another H in there, is there? Yeah, I forget how you spell it. Bear with me 2 seconds, folks. Let me just double check this one before I put it in. Sorry, folks, just wanted to double check that. Right. Methuselah is the oldest man who ever lived. This is Noah's grandfather, basically. And it says to use the wisdom, something about seek the wisdom of the Ancient of Days, and it mentions it mentions it a few times, the Ancient of Days. Well, this says, you, them, T-H-E-M, seal, H. Okay, so you, them, seal, H. Well, I'm a Siluri, which is the 9th tribe as well, funnily enough, which is the tribe of Simeon, which is me in Sion. You, them, seal, H, okay? Now, the 9, so the 9, right, this is Ti and GH, this is the H, and also 777 is the letter G. Ti, GH, and then you've got your Sina V, and this is, and it's also your Royal V as well. So it's your RGH, which is your Royal Gwent Hospital. No, which is, and the H is the see. I think it's a hospital ark ship. That's what it amounts to, an evacuation hospital ship. But you've got your 999, you, them, seal H. Right. The big point of this is that Noah, he's the oldest man that ever lived. So to seek the wisdom of the Ancient of Days. Well, he was ancient because he lived for 999 years. So that is the code of in the Ancient of Days. And it's telling you, well, basically it's giving you the code for the 999 evacuation with the ark ship. Okay, it doesn't end there though, it gets even more, oh, and incidentally as well, and your 6 and your 9, the 3 of them as well, because basically the Cancer, I'm the son of the moon sign born in Cancer. I've already decoded this. And basically what you have is, you see you've got your 6 and your 9. Well, this is, and ironically, this year starts with a full moon in Cancer, ends with a full moon in Cancer, and my birthday just happens to be bang in the middle on June the 30th. So what you've got, I think this is an omen for when this is, I'm not saying it is definite, but it's, I don't know what to make of it, but the signs all indicate that this is all going to happen relatively quickly. I don't want to be held to that because I don't know ultimately, and I'm trying to interpret what I'm seeing from this code. Okay. GHF. Oh yeah, the 666 is FFF. Is Sphinx fallen. 6th letter of the alphabet is F, and it's Sphinx fallen few. Oh, that's not very good, is it? You can't. So this is your 666. This is the man, Fink, Lawrence Douglas Fink, the chairman and owner, or the whatever, I say chairman, the owner, basically the owner, and he was, they might not tell you this, but this guy is the most powerful man in the world, and he's the one pulling the strings. So there's your man, and this is your beast, W-E-F. You just reverse it, and it's the W-E-F. Okay, this is going to become apparent later on as well, when I give you the, well, when we work, well, you'll see when we get there. Okay, so counting hands, I divine. Again, I don't want to get into that, but that's to do with my mother and father, basically. Well, it's the mel tree is the elm tree, and the vine is me wrapped around it, because you decode vine man from the word Jerusalem by adding added letters. I've done it in the past. I ain't going to have time to do it again. And the other interesting one as well, there's a message as well, because when you, and I don't know which way this is going, but when you combine the ankh and the tau, Right, I think this is to do with, right, I'm pretty, it says a thank you. Now, I was a bit confused with this, but just say, even writing it now, I think I've just twigged what this is about. Because it's the part to do with the gold statement, but I'll come to that, okay? Right, what else? Have we got anything more to put on this one? Oh, there's so much more to it. Bear in mind that the H as well is a key for... You've got the lock on the temple, the stone lock built into the, as a picture looking down, and the keyhole as well is the G. So you've got the lock and the key. That's all. This ICGH is also a lock and a key on a picture built into creation, effectively, because this code is creation code. That's what it is. He says, I create new works, yeah. Says, I create new works. And believe me, he did that. They've been there all along. We just, everything I'm showing you has been there since whenever. Even where he's encoded me into it and everything else. It's obviously was there long before I was born. And he says, I show you things in ancient times, but we'll come to that. Okay, I think I tied up. There's probably a load of things I've missed. But as you can see, what we're talking is an LZ and an Evac. And we've got, an arc ship as well. Okay, let me just tell you, why an Evac? And this involves, when it says about Jerusalem coming down from the clouds, well, it's not Jerusalem, it's a G-Rus, it's a G-Rus, and the van is a recon beacon. I'll explain that a little bit more now, but it's basically an anagram of the Argus Navis, and then you add the recon beacon of Brecon Beacon, because my initial opening toward this code, the spark that sort of, if you like, switched me on, woke me up, I don't know what you say really, but the first sort of code I got was that knowing that Mount Sinai is a recon beacon. It was the Brecon Beacon, so that's Mount Sinai, or a Brecon Beacon, whichever, I think it just counts from all, it just looks at them as one. Okay, bear with me a second. Right, as you can see, folks, what I put is the Phoenix event, because that is what this is about. It's about a Phoenix event, and you're going to find it. Well, I'll cut it down because I can tell you now what the Phoenix event is, and it's not the first time it's happened. It's written in a lot of ancient texts. And they do even warn you, if you read the Colbrin Bible, it's now been changed to Colbrin, makes out it's somewhere in Crete or something. It's not, it's from the Colbrin, it's Welsh original, but they've obviously changed it, added a Canaanite K on it, and literally changed it, made it look like it's somewhere else. But what it really is, it warns you of that this thing will return, basically. It's a fiery comet, basically, a wing, it looked with wings on it. It looks like a dragon. It's got many names, but all these names are also encoded in this code. Right. The first thing, right, as you can see, there's something called the Tetragrammaton, and you'll find this word, these initials in the actual Old Testament itself. Right. I know, right, okay, where do I start with this? Right, this is an anagram, this is an anagram of this. Cross all these letters out, this is what you get. Right, okay, this TT, I'm about to show you what this means, and this as well. Right, now, the code for the Phoenix, because it's a Phoenix event, is all you do is you take the PH and you change it to an F. Because PH is F, basically, Phoenix, and I think this is what it should be, is a Phoenix. But when you anagram the rest of it, it actually then says, what is it? OENIX. And then what it says is, well, in this case, right, there's more than one code in this. It actually says one fix, because this is going to be the one fix, the final fix. But it's also, it says, fix on E. Okay, so this is the E that goes here. Now this is what I mean. This is what happens now, and this is how I get this code. This bit I'll explain now. But it's a remote anagram, and it's as much a timing and a trigger really. But there's there's more code in this. Absolutely brilliant. Right, I'll come to this bit, and then this bit really says. Well, I've already showed you YH. That's what it is. It's asking the question, why H? Well, I think I've answered that because H is basically the evacuation zone, as I'm about to show you, for the coming Phoenix event. Okay, but right. Firstly, right, the name that broke right, it's got more than one name, this Phoenix thing. And one name for it is, if I can spell this blooming thing, Q-Los. Okay. This is a name for this planet, well, another name for it is Planet X, Nibiru, or Nebiru it should be, the old Babylonian spelling, which is Reuben, which is the 10th tribe as well, X tribe, the 10th. Right, hang on, I lost my train of thought. Right, okay, so let's keep with this a minute. Right, so, right, this tells you the code you need to break this is in this. It says, Root H. Okay. There's rush as well, I don't know if that's anything, but it's right. Okay, the root H. So what is the code? What does it mean by root H? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is write right here with me. Oh, remote anagram, right. Right, we've got remote anagram and TT, okay. So what you do is you use this and you take so the first code says remote anagrams truth. Okay, so that's another reason why H. It's telling you that the remote anagrams these remote anagrams I get and these codes that I get, well, I'm telling you the truth, and I'm telling you this is what really happens. Okay, but it doesn't stop there. Right, I'm just going to use remote anagram. It's like playing hangman, this is. Right, okay. Oh, sorry. Let's just take that off. Right, now again we've got this root H. Now what I do is all you do is you put in the root and then add the H. Right. So it tells you, not only does it tell you it's a remote anagram's truth, remote anagram's trust H. That's me. Again, this is encoded in the last lot of, well, the identifying of RAR videos, and it said trust H again in that. So it's not the first, this is far from the first time it comes up. But there's another code as well. I won't put the remote anagrams, but what we've got is 10 tribes. Okay, because I've uncoded, the remote anagram allowed me to uncode the 10 tribes. But this also tells you that I've so for anyone who's new to this that hasn't seen it, you really need to watch the Solomon video, the World War III video would be the ideal place, but the rib is basically, the bear with 3 ribs in his mouth prophecy is the initial war, is the war with Russia, which is the bear, the 3 ribs are Sweden, Finland and Norway, but this rib is where Oslo is, Norway. And basically, when you decode this, it says, it says on, or when you anagram this thing, it says on way, R, and then you've got solo. Oslo is an anagram of solo, and Norway is an anagram of on way R. But what it's telling you is basically that when Oslo falls, this is the war part of it. Obviously, this has to happen, seems to have to happen first. But you need to get to Mon, which is where the Kingdom of Solomon is, Monmouthshire, Mon, and the GH. And this also gives you the RGH, and written in Orion it says the final part is head RGH house, final land. Okay, so basically the signal to move when the war starts, when you see Russia in, basically when Oslo falls in Norway, you know the Russians are on their way, and you need to get to basically, it's the signal to get to Mon, to get to the RV point, which is actually the temple, which is the RV is the lock, and the Evac is the key fort. Okay, and then the beacon, the recon beacon is basically my caravan. That's what it. Oh, right, okay, but unbelievable, I know, folks. But as you can see, and we're not nowhere near finished yet. Okay, so basically, what this is telling you, what I'm telling you is the truth. This is what the tetragrammaton means. This is written on Solomon's symbology as well. The Jews are all into this, but they think it is tetra is 4. Maybe it is 4. Maybe this is what it's. I'm not sure. Oh, I don't know. There's probably some connection with the 4 things. I'm not sure, but either way, you've got So as you can see, it's remote anagrams truth, trust H, and scene rib, which is the warning sign to get there, because like I say, the war is going to happen. War with Russia, and it's inevitable, it's coming. Right, okay, let me just hold you there a second, folks, and then we'll go to star constellations, because it's written up there as well, in the most amazing places. Okay, folks, let me just adjust the camera a little bit. It's moved slightly out of the window. Right, okay, star constellation messages. Okay. All these star constellations, I don't know whether they're all message, but there's messages all over it, and it's literally, we live in this matrix, I don't know what it is, but you've heard of escaping the matrix. Well, this is the literal escape from it. That's what this is amounting to. Right, okay. Right, the codes in them are, right, bear with me. Again, I'm not going to do letter by letter, but you can check it yourself. This one says, again, this is the C, so locking in the key as well. Again, this locks in the safe zone, because if I add King Solomon to the C and then unscrabble it, it says so locking in Solomon's key. Well, Solomon's key is where the LZ is. And as you'll see, this says, okay, see a real threat, IDLZ. So locking in Mon's key. So the key is, well, I wouldn't want it beyond the key, I don't know. Like I say, this is in the realms of science fiction, but clearly makes complete sense as to why there's, and if you haven't watched it, there's a video I did, and the best one to watch is probably is it the Dabus giraffes? There's an Ark ship one, there's one with the Ark, and then there's another one with the Dabus giraffes. But it's absolutely phenomenal. The code in it, basically going between the stars and this map line and this picture of an anchor that leads directly through the ship. And even names my daughters in there, telling me, and it is good news for me, because it means that I did this to keep my 2 little daughters safe. And they're all encoded in it, in this anchor in the desert. It just happens to be in Niger, in the back middle of nowhere. I wondered why. Well, there's more to come on that, because Niger looks like war in Africa, with Niger at the centre of it. Is it Niger or no? Niger, Niger. Anyway, well, I'm pretty sure that's going to be the theme of the next one, the next video, because I'm seeing some stuff in that that's absolutely crazy. Okay, so the next one is... This one has two codes. X. This is planet X. That's what that's meant to do. Is this planet X, which is the same as the as that Herbicolosis, Nibiru. It's got numerous names, but these are all coded as well. Well, we'll get into it as we go on. That's the first one, but the second one, just so there's no there's no doubt, it says is actually the same. It's an anagram of I spy. What is it? I spy map SOS X. Well, it is a map SOS because it's the key, and obviously it's all encoded in Atlas, which is a last. And the Atlas is a last message encoded using these map tricks, which is a matrix with the P in it from the padlock. Okay, so the next one, and this is amazing because this leads somewhere on the map as well. Right. Right. The Sphinx. This is where it gets crazy. Right, the key at Llanmelin, this Fort Llanmelin, right, with a slight adjustment, and I mean like probably less than a metre, right, one way it follows and it points literally, well, it points to where I'm working now, in exactly where I am now. That goes with the Vatican key, and if you've haven't seen that, watch it. But if you follow with the slightest adjustment, I mean the slightest, and you follow it, it goes then to literally the Giza pyramid from the top. It's like a cross. Actually, it's just right. Obviously, I'm just doing this off scale. But if you how does it go? It goes something that would be looking down on the pyramid. This line crosses directly through these two corners. Follow it down and it hits the Sphinx. So what has the Sphinx got to do with this? Well, the Sphinx is also a code. Unbelievable. And the Sphinx code connects to Fornax the furnace. Right. The word Sphinx. Sphinx, sorry, no S on the end of it. It says pins HX. Okay, so what does it mean, pins HX? Well, the answer is written in Fornax the furnace. Okay, because the first letter is H. And this is telling, well, this is referring to the HH man. Right, okay. Well, let's just cross this one off so you can see it. Right, okay, it says, what does it say? And this is the first kind of bit of good news for those that will listen. Those that won't, well, I pity you when this all takes place. Right, obviously this is a big fiery red planet. That's what it amounts to. I don't know whether it's a comet or a planet, but it's called Planet X, but it's something like a cross between a comet and what's weird is when it says see a real threat, I don't know whether this is an omen or whether it, I get the feeling it's more of, they say that comets are omens. Well, there's been a comet recently, I can't think of the name, Pansbrook Comet. There's even a code in that as well I've worked out, but I won't go into it now. And basically this comet well, I think it's a warning sign because it's the first comet, and what it looks like. Well, they call it. They say it looks like the Millennium Falcon. It's just like winged comet. It's got it literally, and it fits the description of where they describe this planet as well. I don't know. It's just heading towards the sun. I know it's going to come past us. Whether I don't know whether it's the actual. I don't know. But if nothing else, it's a warning sign, and I think this could be a real threat. IDLZ. I'll come into why it's called the compass now as well, because that there's another reason for that as well. Okay, H fear not furnace X. So it's telling me not to fear it. Obviously, you're not going to fear it if you're on, if you know there's, well, if you know there's an evac coming, and as crazy as this all sounds, like I say, I know you've got to see it to believe it, and believe me, I'm human, so I've got this thing like, this can't be right, but I just can't see how it can't be right. And this code has been so accurate in the way it's, and the things that are drawn on the earth, and the pictures, and the coding written in the atlas lines, and everything else. Every time it comes up trumps. One video backs another, one code backs another after another after another. Okay. Right, okay. Oh, and let's not, and just as, and again, I'll just scrub this off a bit as well. Ark of the Covenant, which is more than one code, so it's not going to be, well, you'll see now. Ark of, again, you have to use the whole words in this. I've realised that to get the code, including the there's, whatever it is, Covenant. What was it saying? Again, you get this trademark O of yours. You get this C, which is locking it in. OC NOAH. Noah. EVENT. KRAFT. OC Noah Event Craft. There's the Noah Event Craft, and what's incredible, I think, is Vela the Sail, which I decoded. The Argus Navis is decoded from a constellation as well. All the clues are in there, and even tells you where to place it and everything else written in the stars. I've already run this by in a previous video as well. But if I remember right, it's Vela the Sails. And when you take all the stars and scrabble the message, it says, as Noah is true as said, I am ID. So again, like I say, I can't go through everything, but you can. It's all checkable, and you can see it. And the further I go, the more of this is coming apparent. And again, it just adds up, one code after another after another. Right. Let's do the compass. Something so obvious I couldn't see it for looking, but right. You know that we've got the G on this. We've got right. Masonic, square and compass, and the G in the middle. Okay. Right. Square. This is the G. This is actually Gumri and Jerusalem in one. Right, square. The square. Well, what it is, it's a square fort. That's why you got a square, because this fort, Adventus Iurum, or Kaiwent, as it's modern known. Note as well, when Adam and Eve messed up, because it's Eden, the Care went, and Kaiwent is an anagram of Care went. When Solomon messed up, the Care went, and the G went, and that's Gwent, which is the county it's in. Even these places are all part of this miraculous code. The square fort, and then you've got the and the compass. Okay. Well, this fort, Kiowen is literally a square fort. It's got a north gate, an east gate, a south gate, and a west gate. Okay. So what you effectively got from looking for the sky is the compass. So it's the square fort, the square compass fort. That's what it is. And this is what that is also Jerusalem. And if you want to see how I've decoded that, go back. But it is without doubt the real Jerusalem. And and even in this, you've got just to show you, so you know I've no doubt that it's correct. Is GMRU. Right, this makes arc. This makes angles, which is an anagram of angels. Okay, so what's the archangel's code? Well, this G is for Gabriel, M is for Michael, R is for Uriel, R is for Raphael, U is for Uriel. So if I put basic, again, I don't know, it must be, I'm guessing the order, G, M, okay, I don't know which way round, R, U. But what you do is you seal it, make Gymru as well, because it's in Wales. Gymru is the Welsh word for Wales. The original, people think it's Cymru. They didn't. They actually changed it. They changed it to Cymru, apparently to soften it, because it's easy to say. I don't know how that works. Gymru, Cymru, either way. But what you've got is you've got the 4 archangels, and then the Y is once you put the Y in the middle, what you get is you get. What does that stand for? Well, I know it sounds crazy, but it's you. How do I know that? Because this is my name anagram, this Mr. Guy. It's you, Mr. G, U, Mr. G, U, Y. It's you, Mr. Guy. I'm missing the angel, I guess, in the middle, but it says Siluri angel, and this is the RV point as well. And so the square for compass, when it uses Pixis as the compass, and then the compass is, what is it? I spy the map. CI spy, sorry, I think it's CI spy, the map SOS. Map, oh no, it isn't. C map SOS, C map SOS. Save our souls, obviously, and this is the rendezvous written in the River Severn, which is an anagram of CNRV. So the rendezvous is hidden, the place of the rendezvous is encoded in the River Severn as well, nearby, or the Sabbath River. Right, I better get moving on to this before, before I do. Okay, the order of play and what it means. Oh man, this is, like I say, the most impossible code that I just put together in a matter of weeks. Right. War. Evac. Fire. World Economic Forum, WEF. I think this also means the few will survive, but the few will, there's going to be, well, obviously it's only a remnant that gets off this planet, that's what it says. Those will listen, so if you're getting this video, trust me, you really, well, if I'm wrong, I'll take you on the chin, because when you find stuff like this, and quickly as I do, you know that this is not, well, I'm not that intelligent, believe me, I'm not that intelligent. War, evac, fire. So effectively, this is the end of, this is how, and bear in mind that the 6th letter of the alphabet is F. And this is Finks, fallen, few. Fink is Lucifer. And written in his full name. This is the man behind it all, I tell you now. And you'll see the other guy is behind it, because it tells you their downfall in his name. You might know him as Larry Fink. Right, okay. Lawrence Douglas Fink, this is the black rock that owns it, basically owns it all, has his fingers in everything, the octopus one in the door, as written in American dollar. Right, it says, let's just do it because it show you how clever this is. G-O. Well, this guy is the head of the World Economic Forum. This guy here is him, or it, him, whatever. Basically, that's been kicked, well, like I say, he's been kicked out, and that's it. And this is, and Lucifer and Klaus gone. And so we've got the 666 is Fink's fallen few, that's your man. That's your beast, letting you have to understand and reckon the number of the beast. Well, there you go. I can wreck on it. I can tell you it. I can even reek on it as well, because it's written in the map. There's a whole code in the map that I've done on the 666 video. But what you've got is the WF, Lucifer and Klaus gone. Or the Lucifer, WF, Lucifer and Klaus gone. It literally all ties together so perfectly. Okay, so I'll just hold you there a minute, let you get your breath. Let me get mine. Okay, folks, right, as you can see, I told you that there is the Old Testament should be, they've taken the G off it to make it old, to bring out a new one. A new one is a complete, absolute, it's just to lead you astray, basically, and follow the gods of Egypt without even realising it. And I've broken down the Amen-Ra deception, or the Amen deception, using Ra, who's the actual snake from, well, was a snake, I don't know what it is, and I know it sounds crazy, but I looked the thing in the eye and it even gives it in a code, which I'll go over something with that in a second, because I've got something to add to that. Right, okay, so in the Gold Testament, because Testament is an anagram of statement, so there's a gold statement somewhere. Right, the gold statement is hidden in, and funny enough, I just noticed as well, it just happens to be in the job, the 9-9 job. And I'm the ninth tribe is the Siluri, so I'm pretty sure that's what that is as well. It's the 999 job. Well, and when you see what this says, you'll know exactly why it said it's called that. Right, before I show you what this says, I think it's only right because the gold statement, and I could put, there's a lot of things said, but I'm going to read this because I think this is so relevant and tells you why this is all happening now and what it's all about, and well, he's telling you really what he's done doing and how it ties with all this. Right, Isaiah 43:11. Tell ye and bring them near, yea, let them take counsel together. Who hath declared this from ancient time? Who hath told it from that time? Have I not, Yahweh? And there is no other besides me, the just one and Saviour. There is none besides me. No Jesus, nobody. He is. There's no second coming. I can tell you that now. But like I say, Revelations, they've just moved it around, and I don't know exactly what they've done, but they've obviously added all the Jesus. And when you'll see why, you'll know why Jesus isn't coming when I show you what this says. Okay, then it says, Isaiah 46:10, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times, the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand and I will do all my pleasure. Right, okay. Now to tie onto the back of that now, because I think, well, this to me is the gold statement written in code in the book of Job, the book of the Job. The book is the Atlas, and this Job is the Job. It's an allegory, I think, and a code. And in fact, it's 9-9. That's incredible as well. I didn't even notice that. Right, bear with me a second while I write this up. I'm not going to cross it all out, but you can check it yourselves. Okay, folks, a bit wonky, but okay. Orion the Hunter, Arcturus, Pleiades, the Seven Sisters. I see truth returns, so I return on H. Please set Evac HIDs. And a kind of, well, I guess a bonus one. They probably got codes in the others as well. There's probably more to come from this. But Orion the Hunter itself says, oh, I return on the H. So this Jesus, well, you know, Yah is, well, clearly returning himself. Amazingly in the job 999. There's one I, well, the HID is a 999 as well. Only got to add the 19 to give you the 999 job. The evacuation, the IDs and the Argus Navis is the craft. You know, OC Noah event craft. And it seems this is how it is going to end, folks. And well, like I say, if it, you know, I do not, and I can't understate how important it is to get your hands up, put your sins on your palm, stand in the letter Y, and just bow your head and just say, tell him you're sorry, you know, and we've all made mistakes. Me, you know, I've made lots of them, but you know, I've been pulled out of it as well, really, because, you know, well, I don't even know how I got to this point, folks, but as you can see, it's no coincidence, and bear in mind that this code is just like well, really, for me, it's like the pinnacle code of everything I've been sort of through and done, and this whole journey that I've been on. There's a couple of codes I just want to put in as well if I've got time, because I'm running short, but bear with me. Okay, folks, a little bit of a weird one, but maybe put a little bit of a lighter edge. Well, it's not really a lighter edge, but 3 wise monkeys code. Okay, the first thing, the wise code I did long ago, and what it is Wales, W is Wales, I is Ireland, S is Scotland, E is England. So this is what they see no evil, hear no evil, and speak no evil, because they're holding a secret. Okay, this is what I've been given. But when you unscrabble this, literally, letter for letter, it says recon seal, a G will stand, end land. Again, it's the same thing. Right, okay. Now, the code, and this is the trickery of the, well, I say trickery, it's just code. I don't know whether, I think these places were literally, what you've got is basically, the biblical land of Canaan is England. And this is represented at Swindon, actually. I could go into more with this because there's a bigger message in this. And basically, what it amounts to is England is Canaan, Egypt is Cornwall, and Wales is Judah. Okay. Now, right, encoded in this, obviously you've got this wise. This is why the monkeys are wise. But then they're wise because there's 3 mon keys. There's 1, 2, 3 mon keys. Okay, they're the 3 keys that unlock Mon, which is, again, this is the safe zone and the Cancer constellation, which gives you the safe zone. You put the moon over it because the moon sign in Cancer that highlights it. And this is how you break the 3 mon keys secret code. Okay, amazingly as well, when you use the Wales, England, Cornwall, then obviously in the centre you've got Mon, and then you've got Canaan, Egypt, Judah, and it says we see Mon key. So the three there's a secret even written in the 3 wise monkeys code. Just to give you and obviously, like I say, it sounds a bit strange, I know, but everything has been switched abroad. In fact, there's another key I'll show you as well, an ancient, well, so say Celtic key. It's not, it's a Siluri key, and I know what it means, but bear with me a second, I'll just write that one up. Okay, there's something called the an ancient symbol, and this is an appalling version of it, but it looks roughly like this. Where exactly, I'm pretty sure I've done this wrong, but you can check it basically. But what you've got are these spirals, and if you, I believe it faces that way, but these spirals are telling you to spin it. So it's also spin, but it's also the illusion. it's an illusion this is what it's meant to, and it's the illusion that these places are effectively in the Middle East. Triskelion is Welsh. Tri is three, skeleton is skeleton. Well, the only thing it can be is a three skeleton key. So the three skeleton key, again, well, this is appalling, like I say, but I'm pretty sure that if wherever you place this onto Wales, England, and I would imagine, I haven't got one that I can fit to scale as such to show you, but I would put a penny to a pound that would be Mon in there. And this again, it's like an ancient way of showing you these things, but again it's got the Wales, England, Cornwall is we see, and then you've got Canaan, Egypt, Judah, which is we see key. This is an ancient Welsh key, we see key. So it's like I say, it's a three skeleton key. Three skeleton, and what it is, this is like, and it's like the illusion of going away, but now we build it, but now I'm breaking the spell, or the spelling on it. It's bringing them back into where, and putting the truth. And Yah says there's no truth in the land. That's what, and obviously that last, the big code says, I see, well, the first thing he says is, I see truth returns. And this is what it is. And the truth is back, the truth is back in the land, because I've identified it as being the real place of Eden and all the rest of it, where we've been tricked, moved all this abroad. And the biggest thing I think I'm pretty sure the whole purpose of moving the whole thing is because you cannot move the Ark of the Covenant. They cannot move it. They cannot touch it. So therefore, instead of trying, obviously if they could move that out, well, they would move it all if they could. But the Ark is the one thing that obviously keeps it, stops them, well, from hiding everything really, plus the code. But obviously the way they've done it is by they just removed, instead of moving the Ark, they moved the Holy Land, so while they're still in Israel, they're still looking for the Ark, which should be under Israel. Well, it's not. It's under the land of His rule. And again, as I explained, His rule is written in the Sabbath River, or the Severn River, which is the old Sab, and it's where you took your Sab bath on a Saturday, which is an anagram of that roost day, and those. And the Siluri is an anagram of Israel. And they that followed His rule, but they obviously got divorced. And in the place I said, I'm not your people, I will say I am your people, and I will be your Father, I suppose. Use the word God. I don't even know what word to use really, but it's Yahweh. And He's going to be with His people again, and that's what this is all about. But by following His rule, I also became Siluri H, and this is how's it going? This is why you've got the Tetragrammaton, and it's is that right? W-H-Y. Oh no, sorry, that should be a H. Sorry, and that should be, do you know what, I've gone blank. I can't even remember how the tetragrammaton goes. Bear with me, folks. I am getting tired, so that will explain it. Y-H, W-H. Sorry, let's start that again. It's not, obviously they've made it out to be all this Jewish and everything else. It's not. It is simply W-H-Y, W-H-Y-H. Well, that's the answer, because I followed His rule, and that's what I do every Saturday. I follow His rule, which is keep the Sabbath holy, basically. And the one time I messed up, even that's in code. Right, on that note, I'm going to leave it there. I've got a little bit more, but it's going to have to go on to the next video. But the important part is there. So, like I say, folks, the right way to pray, and again, I could go over and over this and go around in circles. There's that much code in it, but stand in the letter Y, feet, together, sins on palms, head down, unlock, well, you learn by doing this again, because this obviously, in this way round, it would be unlock your mind, I guess, and the key, and then literally this is what I did: fill my cup with information through the tetragrammaton, the remote anagram, and what I saw or got in return was the exact same thing with the map of the safe zone. In this way it would be the lock and the key. And that and like I say, there's so much more to it. And it also gave me, there's the river, there's the CNRV, the River Severn. Well, we now know that this is CNRV, but the RV is here at the, sorry, wrong one. The RV, the rendezvous for the tribes is at the lock, and the key is now I know is the LZ, landing zone. Sounds crazy, I know, guys, but like I say, you need to see the ship and everything else that made that up, because I didn't just pluck this out of thin air, and I've done it in record time, and that's not because I'm smart, I can assure you. I don't even, well, it's hard to even explain how I do it, but it's because the one who created all this and put this plan together for whatever reason, and I really don't completely understand it, and like I say, it's not the best message to give. Well, it is and it isn't. You know what I mean? It's like, anyway, I could rattle on, but I'm going to leave it there, and until next time, Yah's blessings. Get right with him though, people, get right.